I hope you found the breakout rooms quite interesting and informative as well. And I'd like to now just very quickly get some highlights from each room just to share with the rest of us.
So we found everything obviously very inspiring. And then the conversation turned into what could our own centres do and what have we done, and we turned towards sustainable energy. And Nicole's Brahma Kumari in India has a big solar project, and they use renewable energy, and we were thinking that we could approach our own local centres to inquire if they have renewable energy, and so that faith organisations can lead the way into switching towards that, because it's solar power, I think, is the cheapest one in the world, but there's still a lot of buildings that don't use renewable energy. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, so we just talked a lot about our own work and our plans for COP26, and it was really good. We talked about #blessed and how it really led from like getting together socially to then moving on to kind of collective action, which was really inspiring, because that's actually quite difficult, I think, to do. So it was good to hear about that.
We talked about we focused on the intergenerational aspect quite a lot, how to get young people engaged generally in community groups and faith and belief groups. And we kind of compared notes on what were the special attractors. Was environment a special kind of attractive quality? And would young people be more attracted to a community group having environmental action aspects to it? As opposed to, say, other social justice or human rights aspects. It was quite a mixed picture, and that led us on to talking about the habit that generations have of passing the buck and how to stop that chain. And even though sort of today's youth may have it as an urgent priority, by the time they're 30, 40, well, they've moved on to other things. And the importance of generating and developing that culture in youth of this holistic unity, world awareness that won't leave them as they get older. And we also talked about how having a faith or a personal Jesus or someone sort of that belief in that spirit or that soul can be an overriding factor that can sort of wash away burnout, or that can wash away other sort of materialistic temptations, and that build on us as we get older, more responsibilities, have to pay the bills and things like this. And also I think we shared the importance of keeping things local, and having local achievable results and not being divorced from that and being sort of too up in the sky, divorced from actual results on the ground. If you're sort of too distant from that planning and management and things like this, it becomes a bureaucracy, and we don't want faith or beliefs to become a bureaucracy getting between us and what we want to achieve, or us in the natural world in this case.
But I think we were really encouraged by the kind of the links that are potentially able to be made tonight and through these events, but also the potential kind of for what's there and what we're seeing emerging, and what that might do in the future for kind of political will and kind of encouraging more work around the environment. But we were also then talking a little bit about the I suppose the tensions for some young people that might not feel that link between their religion and kind of getting involved in some of these things, and how actually young people working together with young people and on these issues can be a way for people to kind of re-engage with their faith or see something from a spiritual perspective. And it's maybe time to, I think, for us to kind of give people that space and encourage these spaces that are being created in events like this and this evening. And I hope that's enough.
We talked a little bit about how you can rely on your consciousness and how you can discover through your consciousness and your actions. But mainly we talked about the SDGs and how religions can use the SDGs as kind of like a basis to go off, and we just kind of went around and talked a bit about each kind of group that we were part of, and what they all had from what they all took from the SDGs, and also how you can measure goals like that, and how you can keep on track of what you have committed to be doing. Yeah, I think they were the main points.
Thank you so much. Please feel free to send your questions to us. It's youth.coordinator@rfpuk.org. Do we have any comments or any questions to our lovely speakers? It's been very informative evening for all of us. Yes, Karishma, please.
So it's a question to those who raise the issue of fellowship, intergenerational beliefs, communication. I think the word collaboration was used. So credit to all of you for doing that. Those are very, very important themes. In the light of all this collaboration and fellowship, is there need still for the words protest and the same similar kind of words? Can we not achieve all this good through collaboration? If anybody would like to pick up on that.
I've got a short answer, but it's the way I would respond, which is I think that I absolutely agree with you. Collaboration is fantastic, but unfortunately, I don't think that enough people collaborate, which brings on the need for kind of protesting. So if we look at some of the stuff that I'm trying to do with Burst the Bubble, how much is the UK government really listening to us and collaborating with us? Well, not much. So how do we go about doing what we want to do and do what we feel that the need to do when we don't get that vital collaboration? So I think that absolutely collaboration is important, but we still need that sort of protesting because some people don't collaborate.
Thank you so much, Gia. And would anyone else like to comment? Yes, Simon.
Yeah, I'm happy to comment. Working with some of our young people recently, I think I was quite challenged because it's not just about the collaboration, but it's the issue about power. And I think they said or heard they said somewhere that power is never, ever given away. It has to be taken. It doesn't have to be taken a violent way, but there's an issue about power and its relationship and how it's there. And if you're just passive, I'm afraid you're not going to get things. There's an issue about how to do that in a creative way. We've seen Extinction Rebellion. But I worked for the Mayor of the West Midlands when the strike happened in the West Midlands, and it was a creative protest of young activists causing civil disobedience, raising the agenda, which meant I could get them in the room with the Mayor, and then that led to an agreement of a target, which we're now trying to do in the West Midlands. So I think you have to find creative ways of protesting and creative ways of asking for power.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, thank you very much for that question, Karishma. It's a really good one because the youth of today want peace as much as anything. You know, that they see so much going on around the world, but also it's about feeling like you're doing something. So much of the time we are away from these immediate things that are happening that are damaging. So the only way we feel like we can contribute or show support, money is it's not tangible, is it? Kind of like you give it and you don't know where it's gone exactly. Coming out in protest and coming out and saying, this is me, I support this, it's bigger than kind of any donation to some extent. It's that ownership and self-identity is a big thing right now. Youth, especially with social media on their profiles and their likes and dislikes, and it's a big thing. What are you about? And what protests you support and how you support them says a lot about you as a person and maybe your character. But it's a very, very dangerous area as well. You know, I think we could have a whole separate talk, Ida, on this in future, part 3. You know, what is the role of people in protest? You know, some people want to be part of it, but not too involved. There's a fear of being associated with certain types of protest and what people will then think of you. So, yeah, it's a huge topic, but I'm glad you brought it up.
Thank you, Amanda. I would like to continue with #blessed.
So we basically echoing what everyone has said before us, but looking at on a local level with our group specifically, we are aware, as we were saying in our breakout room, we're aware of our limitations. So with each goal, we try to stretch what we're able to do a little bit more to have a bigger impact over a larger area. But we're incredibly aware that some of the things we want to see change and some things we want to be proactive in helping changing, we have no power over. It is our elected officials who need to do that. And as I said earlier, often is the case that those in power aren't open to collaboration. I'm on the exact same side, that protest is always an option as long as it's peaceful. It's just it's an unfortunate necessity.
I hear everything that's been so constructively said today. And in the light of what's been said, this concept of collaboration, others not listening, therefore the need for some form of identity, establishment, and therefore the word protest. There's a lovely verse from the Gathas by the prophet Asho Zarathustra, the texts that are left behind from him from thousands of years ago, that I find so scientific. In that it says, questioning all matters for the sake of the growth and progress of the whole community. So there, the qualification for questioning so that there is progress for the good of all is something that I also see in all faiths and none and in science. That goes with another phrase from the Zoroastrian scriptures, which again resonates with so many other philosophies, scientific and people of non-faith as well. And of, like I say, intergenerational belief system, which is the phrase that says, listen, reflect, then decide to take action. So we listen both to the voice from within and to others, so that there is progress. And we are asked to do this, like scientists are asked to do, before each event, so that we're not measuring every event with the same yardstick. So thank you very much for those thoughts from all of you on the necessity to listen, collaborate, and then work together in a fellowship with all.
Thank you, Karishma. I think, yes.
Oh, by the way, this is my mummy here, Jeru.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I think we are all trying our best within our communities, within our own traditions, and the word protest is a bit, there is a different understanding of it. But what I would like to say that after all this session that we had tonight, I can say that there are similarities, and the commonality is that we are all keen to do common action, which tonight's topic was environment, and under the umbrella of peace, understanding from our similarities and differences, and learning from each other and acting, taking action together in this. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, especially our speakers and also our Religions for Peace UK trustees, our steering committee, our network. I hope you enjoyed this session and found it interesting, informative. We are very grateful that you shared your precious time with us tonight. Please use the email. It can be questions or comments. I'm looking forward to receiving them. Please take good care of yourself and enjoy your evening, morning, or afternoon. We had quite international attendees tonight, which is very, very exciting for RFP UKIYN. Thank you.